This game's not won on social media. This game's not won on telephones. This game is won with shoulder pads, helmets, mouth guards, and sweat. That's how the game is won.
To the Bill Neese Coaches Show Week 1 of the 2022 season. I'm your host, Chip Hare, with the star of the show, Coach Bill Neese. And Coach, Indians wrap up Week 1 is in the books. Indians win 55-0 as they travel down to Welcome Stadium and beat Belmont. Nice to have that first one under the belt as we get into conference play, which we'll talk a little bit about that. What was your takeaways from Friday night?
I thought we had a lot of good performances, throughout the entire team. I thought on our offensive side, we were able to get out. First two scrimmages, we weren't able to really get our run game out, meaning getting some chunk yardage and stuff like that. I think sometimes we get a little spoiled with having Medley and Karan Coleman for the last couple of years, and we were able to get out some decent runs and some over 20 runs in the week. I thought quarterback Brady Old did an excellent job, 7 for 8 passing, always making great decisions for us in what he's doing. One of the big things, the highlight of the night probably would be Dre'Sean Robertson, the fact that he set a school record for a kickoff return, 98 yards, almost was able to take a punt, the distance too, which would have been an unbelievable feat to be able to run back a kickoff and a punt during the course of a game. He had 2 bubbles that he caught that he was gaining like 12, 14 yards, and overall he ended up an average 31 yards per every time he touched the football. So I thought that was outstanding. Jackson Trombley, our kicker, had a great night, in terms of his night, and 3 of our offensive linemen graded out over 80%. So I thought overall, everything went well. Defensively, we had some good tackling. We also had some bad tackling in terms of we had 13 missed tackles. And the interesting thing about it is of the 13 missed tackles, 9 of those 13 tackles were on 2 plays. Mm-hmm. So one play we had 4 people miss a tackle, and another play we had 5 people miss a tackle. So they had a pretty good run game going at the beginning of the game, and they wore down.
They came right at us.
Yeah, they wore down a little bit, and I think number 5 was a load. He had a great stiff arm, and obviously when we did our tackling circuit today, everybody was reminded a little bit more about that stiff arm, a little bit more about their angles and those type of things. And our guys know they know that you just got to keep working. That it's a process, and it continues on.
Coach, when you look at the stats, obviously we dominated the game in all phases of it, both offensively and defensively. You named a couple people that stood out as far as their performances. Brady was one of them. Dre'Sean. But one interesting statistic that a lot of people wouldn't know unless you look at his helmet, I saw today Jackson got the bomb award. Now, how many times as a kicker in the Pickler program has there been a lot of kickers that have gotten the bomb award?
I believe Jackson would be the first person to get the bomb award.
And remind the people what the bomb award is.
Well, the bomb award, we had a former assistant coach of ours, John Apple, was also a professional wrestler, and one of his signature moves was the A bomb, where we would come off the top rope or sometimes the second rope and put the big splash on somebody from back. Everybody remembers that from Haystacks Calhoun from back in the day. Put the big splash, and so we created a little award. We have an award to kind of commemorate him, and it's got his number 71 on it. And then once a week, every time somebody gets what would be a worthy hit, because Baum was a big hit guy, and anybody that gets a worthy hit is given a separate helmet decal than what we normally have. And it's a pretty revered situation. This week we gave out 4 of them, and that's very rare that we're giving out 4. Usually there's 1 or 2, but Jackson had one for a tremendous tackle. We had Sam Smeezing had one. He came as he was going out of bounds. The guy hit him out of bounds, and the guy just hit, boom, just fell completely fell. Bryson Roberts had one this week. He was working against a gunner on a punt team, drove him out of bounds, and at one point I think he was near our bench, near our medical facility. And then Jacob Foskel had a pancake block that he brought the guy. It was on the 5-yard line, and he had the guy out of the end zone. End zone. He was heading toward the parking lot on that one. So those are our 4 bomb awards. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but those are 4 bomb awards we gave out this week.
Well, lots of helmet stickers this week to go through for the Indians as we wrap up week 1 and the only non-conference game, should be noted, at Welcome Stadium, which we had to jump on the new turf, and it was nice to have that opportunity. But now it's time to come back home, and it's time to get back into the league play, and we open up with West Carrollton here at home Friday night at 7 o'clock. Game will be able to be seen here on the Indian Nation station. Coach, talk a little bit about that game, and as far as what you think of that game's to be. And we haven't seen West Carrollton for a few years, oddly because of the pandemic schedule and last year of COVID. So we've not seen the Pirates, and this will be a different look for the Indians. I know we're looking forward to getting back into tangle with them.
Yeah, they got a new coaching staff this year, and as we able to look at the scrimmage tape, we were able to see that they had a couple different looks on offense. They were at one point they were in a full house set, and then another point they broke out of a spread. I think last week their first game against Miamisburg, their crosstown rivals, so to speak, they were mostly spread offense. So we'll be able to see both. They got a very experienced quarterback back. He's been there for a couple different coaches, and a big guy, 6'3", about 235 pounds, and so he's back, and he kind of runs the show, whether or not it be throwing the ball out into the perimeter, whether or not be taking some shots downfield, and then of course he runs the football quite a bit on quarterback draws and/or scrambles. So that's that side of the ball. On the other side of the ball, on defense, they're an inside gap. They play an old school version of the Notre Dame defense, with both their tackles are usually lined up inside eye and stand up, and they've got 2 really active linebackers, 2 guys that blitz quite a bit. Those are the 2 returning starters for last year's squad. I know we didn't play them, but we still kept track of what they were doing because we knew we'd eventually play them. And those 2 inside linebackers are pretty physical, and they're pretty fast. They also go on the offensive side of the ball and carry the football a little bit. Well, Coach, in just a little bit of film that I was watching today with you guys, their offense is unique in a little bit. As you said, they spread them out, but they also look like they stack those receivers. So they do some outside the box, non-traditional alignments. Well, I think it's non-traditional for here, but I think it's very traditional. The new coach is from Cincinnati, and that's Cincinnati flavor. That's like Cincinnati chili. Everybody, when we played Anderson, it was the same deal. They'd stack people and get those receivers. The thing about the Cincinnati offenses is they run 5 wide, they run it wide open, but those receivers all have to block for one another, or else they're going to bring somebody else in. So that's something that's really going to test our perimeter, our outside linebackers, which we think are one of the big strengths of our team, is to be able to get out there in space and get off blocks and go make those tackles. Well, you talk about our secondary, and we really have some, guys that are returning in those inside linebacker positions in particular. It's nice to have as comfort as know those guys know what they're doing, and they really do a good job of reading the offense of what's going on. Yeah, we don't have many in the back where you could say, hey, that's going to be a mismatch. We don't want that to happen. We don't have a lot of guys back there that we have to cover up, and I think that's very important. And also in the meantime, we're developing some depth back there, because we know at some point during the year we're going to have some people step in. Somebody's going to have to step in for whatever reason, and we've got to continue to get those guys better. Coach, we talk about this one week at a time mentality, and we had the rally last week downtown as the opening season meet the team before we talked about Belmont, and
you gave the microphone to all the seniors, and they all kind of talked about their dreams and aspirations, and everybody had something different. It was interesting. There was a lot of talk about MVL championships. We're now into year 4, and we have been champion the last 2 of those first 3 years. So I'm sure that is a part of repeating. How much of that is a conversation that you have with your team, not necessarily this week, but as goals in the off season?
In the court, when you say how much of a conversation is it, it could be a conversation on a Tuesday in the weight room with 5 guys. It could be, talking here with 7 guys. It's not really a formal, hey, let's get together. We're not that kind of team.
We're sticking goals on
our culture around here is not the kind of team where, okay, we're going to have a meeting, we're going to have a motto for the year. This is our goal board. We do all this other stuff. We just we kind of roll. We're together so much all the time that we may talk about this, we may talk about this. I think that one of the big things that motivates those guys is they get another T-shirt.
Well, it's and the reason I asked that is because I knew the answer to that, obviously, but I think a lot of people think that that's the case, that you sit around and we're going to write our goals on the board. Okay, let's do this and that, and which I know some teams do that, and it's okay if you do. But for us, that's not really been our mantra. We truly just take it as it comes.
We do, and there's two major things we look at, and in terms of goals, if you want to stay that, or statistics. And you could sit up there all day long and say, hey, if we win the time of possession, if we win third down, if we win, and it drives you out of your mind. But there's 2 things I think that we've always hung our hats on in the 30 years we've been here, and that is the turnovers and big plays, because I think those are the 2 things that can affect the psychology of a game more than anything else. And those are the 2 things that we want to make sure we're winning, that we can get out, we can make plays, we can hold people down from making plays, and on the other hand, we don't turn the ball over. If we're going to give you the football, we hope we're kicking it to you in some form or another. And if that's the case, we're great. But little things as we go through, like if we're punting or if we're receiving a punt, I mean, everybody knows what we want to do. Everybody knows how important that is, and this and this. So you have all those little mini things, but no, it's not a huge amount of signage and all the other business.
Well, if anybody's interested in knowing where those things are, the trophies are in the trophy case. They move into there, and then it's move on to the next season. So that MVL season starts this Friday as we host West Carrollton.
Definitely.
Coach, real quick, our people may not just assume, but a lot of schools are starting to get back. Teams are starting to go back into school. We yet have another couple weeks. Yeah. So the guys really get a chance to practice in the morning, and then they get some time. Talk a little about what that's been like for game preparation, and then particularly on the day of a game prep.
Well, for us, it's great. I mean, we enjoy it quite a bit, in the fact that we've got a well-disciplined team. That the day of the game, we have everybody wake up and we give them till 9:30, 10 o'clock. Bring them in, go through a walkthrough. That's JVs included. Everybody comes in and they'll give us a look on offense, defense. We'll regroup and go over everything in terms of who's on what special team. It just gives you another chance to get going, and then we get an opportunity also to feed them. And so everybody leaves here, and they've got a good night's sleep beforehand. They've got a sandwich, and they've got a couple pieces of fruit, and they got a Gatorade in their hand, and they're good to go to come back for the game. So it's a good schedule. It's a good schedule. I think back previously, you had to try to put so much in the summer, and school started early, maybe a week. A lot of times they started a week before your season started, and now this gives everybody just a little extra time, and you're not cramming things in. I think it's better health-wise. I think our players are healthier. I think they're not losing weight and being totally tired, gone through 2-a-days and 3-a-days and things like that. And I think that's probably the big difference.
Well, it also keeps them fresh mentally too, because you're not having to jam so much in, and you've got more time to get your practices and all those things that you got to get covered. Coach, we're going to bring in a couple players here in the second half of the Coaches Show two key players, two returners who were starters last year, Dre'Sean Roberts, who we talked a little bit about earlier in the show, but also Anson Cox, but I know is Big Tree on both sides of the ball. Both those guys have been an integral part of this program and the success that this program has seen the last couple of years.
And it's their turn now to move into the big time role. You know, they got both hands on the steering wheel now, and they actually have their foot on the gas pedal.
Oh yeah,
you know, they're ready to roll. They're not in the sidecar anymore, and both of them had great performances. Anson's one of the few guys on our team, probably the only guy on our team that plays both ways. And you know, the unique thing about him is we try to get him off the special teams. He wants to play on the special teams. He almost became offended when we took him off the kickoff team. You know, I had to have another coach break the news to him, and he just said, "No, I'm good. I'm good." And you know, that's the kind of player, that's the kind of leader you want. You know, one of the things I do say, and I don't make a sign about it, but we do say it quite a bit, and that is your best players have to be your hardest workers. If your best player is not your hardest worker, then you're in for a long season. And we can say wholeheartedly that our you know, best players, our leaders, are our hardest workers. And you know, you go from Anson, you know, who operates on that level, to Dre'Sean, who is a return guy, and in addition to playing offense and defense, he also returns everything. And this past Friday night, he had a touchdown return, 98-yard touchdown. He had a 48-yard punt return, and he actually, when another team punts to us, we call that our first down. And we say we have actually 5 downs on a possession. Okay, they're going to punt to us or they're going to kick to us. Okay, where we put that ball is actually an extra down. Right. And for him just to catch punts and not let them drop and move, because the average punt that's not caught loses you 15 yards. So by him catching balls alone, he's getting us 15 yards every time. He catches us and gives us a first down. I mean, by getting at least 10 yards, then we're looking at a 25-yard differential that we didn't have before. So invaluable, the stuff he does for us in terms of our transition game, in terms of those kicking games, and what we call our 5th downs.
Both of those guys, I know we'll see a great deal. We'll hear their names quite a bit this year, and they'll be on stat sheets. But I think also both of those, while they have their leaders, they lead differently, but yet they carry a lot of weight with their teammates.
They do.
And people know who they are, not just by their performance, by what they also do in the locker room.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Dre'Sean is a great example of maybe a little bit more quieter guy, but no, he's not a quiet guy, but he's just not a yeller screamer. He's more of a this is how I operate. James Bond. I mean, he's just got a class about him. He's kind of cool, and I think that's on one side. And then Anson's a vocal guy. Anson can needle you a little bit in terms of getting you to work harder and do it with a little bit of humor. But in the meantime, if you're one of his teammates, you're going to work a little harder. He expects a lot out of everybody, but he expects more out of himself. He's not one of those guys that tell everybody else what to do and then he's not doing it himself. He's actually doing
in the trenches.
It himself. Yeah. He wants everybody to come up to the bar he's set, and it proves to be interesting sometimes.
Well, another interesting statistic that's not on a stat sheet, and if you're not out watching the team get onto the buses as I am to make sure that they're there and ready to roll, it is very quiet and no one's talking on the way to the bus. This year has been the exception. I think there's been one time, I think I did see it, I know I saw it, I think it was on our scrimmage to might have been lineman, where he broke character and actually broke a smile because of his discussion of talks and amping the team up as they're getting onto the bus. So he has that definite skill set. Yep. Coach, we certainly wish you well as we get into West Carrollton. Good luck, as I know we have a lot of business to take care of Friday night.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yep. We're going to come back. We are going to talk to the talker, the tree, and also Dre'Sean when we come back for part 2. Again, this show should be mentioned. It is brought to you by Dick Lumpkin's Auto Body. Welcome to part 2 of the Bill Nice's Coaches Show. I'm here now with our senior featured athletes. They're going to introduce their name and the position that they play.
I'm senior Anson Cox. I play defensive end and offensive tackle.
My name is Dre'Sean Roberts. I play receiver and defensive back.
Dre, real quick, you had a real nice big play the other night, 98-yard kickoff return. That had to be pretty special. Walk us through that. Obviously, we know what it's, well, some of us know what it's like to get in the end zone. Not necessarily all of us, but we can get what that feels like. But walk us through when you got the kickoff and when you're running it back. At what point did you feel like, hey, I got a chance to get it to the house?
Well, I picked the ball up, and I was like looking up, and I was like, there's nobody on the right side on the sideline. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get this one.
So you knew right then when you picked it up?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm getting this one.
For you, you have been multiple roles, obviously receiver and kickoff and special teams. Well, is there a particular one is there a particular situation that you really like that stands out, that grabs you, like, hey, this is really when I look to shine?
I'll say everything. I like playing both sides of the ball. Yeah. And special teams, so I just like it.
Yeah, you don't come off the field much. No. Yeah. Anson, for you, a little different. You're on both sides of the line, and you're blocking for guys like Dre, and really taking sometimes you're getting double teamed, and you're going to probably see quite a bit of that this year. From your perspective, what's it like to be on both sides? And is there one particular side of the ball you enjoy more than the other?
Not really. It just feels great once people behind you break free and get a big play, and then on defense, just everybody getting to the ball is always fun, tackling people. So.
Well, and those guys do a pretty good job patting back, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they give us credit. Right? They give us a lot of credit for credit's due. They're there. So.
Team gets a nice win, obviously, over Belmont. As you move forward, I hear Coach Neese always talking year in and year out. It's 1 week at a time. Yep. This week it's West Carrollton. For you guys, though, and if I were to put a crystal ball, what are some of the things that you guys are hoping to accomplish this year?
To accomplish this year, I think, is just boosting the confidence for the younger class. Like, I believe that last game was a little bit of confidence booster to show them like what we got going on and like the potential that we have. So I think it's really drilling in their head now, like, we can do this. Like, we got a good shot at doing big things this year and going on for the next. So
yeah, one game at a time.
Yeah, right. One game.
Dre, how about you?
I would say going undefeated.
All right. You're going right to the end, huh? All right.
Yeah, win the league title. And that's the main goal.
You guys played with, obviously, you guys were an integral part of last year's team. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You had a different group of seniors, and we all have talked about that was a good group. You now are those seniors. What's it like to lead this group? You've got some sophomores that are coming in who are integral parts, obviously some juniors. What's that like for you guys to lead them?
It's special. Like, we like to lead by example. And it's just like, so when we lead, they know what's going on.
It's go time.
Yeah, it's go time, yeah.
Okay. Both of you guys, it would not be right if I didn't bring it up. Both of you guys hoop.
Right, yeah.
So you guys are multi-sport athletes. Give me a little bit of a background of how that's benefited you, not just overall, but even on the field.
Oh, for this year and from last. So last year I lost a lot of weight during basketball season. I think that helped me, but also I've been putting some weight back on. But like this year, I'm both sides of the ball, kickoff and punt team. So that's by far helping me a lot with that, keeping me in shape. But,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you put a little pounds back.
Yeah, I have been a lot. So there we go with that.
Dre?
I'd say stay in shape, like he said. Like, I play summer ball too, so I'm always going, never stopping.
Well, it's interesting. I got a phone call today, and someone said, hey, I know your football team's going to be good, but I think your basketball team's supposed to be pretty good this year too. So we won't get into hoops, but I know you guys have a lot of expectations of a good senior year.
Yeah, I think with basketball too, the leadership role helped me out a lot too, because we're not really that old in basketball. We got some younger classmen and stuff, and I know me and Dre, we were one of the team captains, so that helped us a lot with leading this team on too. So.
Well, you guys, both of you lead in different ways. Lead by action, Dre. Yeah. Lead by words and action, Anson, right? Yeah. Not much that Anson's not afraid to speak with. Yeah, that's right. Well, hey, let's wrap this up. I know we could probably talk all day. Oh yeah, we could. Well, but unfortunately, AJ's got a time limit for us. We can't go past 2 hours. Dre, what about next year? You know, we're going to get to the year. You're going to graduate. It'll be before you know it. I promise you, it'll be May, and you'll be moving on to the next phase. What are some of the things you're thinking about as you're moving on a year from now?
Got a college for like marketing, business, and I don't know about basketball, football. I'll make my decision when it comes, but that's my plan.
But you're thinking I'd like to either play football or basketball, and you'd like to go to college and get into business.
Yep.
I know you're looking at different schools, but does staying close to home or far away from you, does that matter to you, or is that something that's not really crossed your mind yet?
It doesn't really matter to me. Just find the right school that's right for me, and then go there.
So well said there, Dre. Well, politically not giving us much at all. All right, AJ, or excuse me, Anson, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on college.
So it's been a long recruiting process these past couple years, but it's definitely going to be some hard decisions made, but keep my offers free, open, and see what I can roll in this year.
Tight seal, not getting anything from these guys. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's nice to hear though is you guys are sitting there thinking about what the next level for you is, and we're fortunate that you get to do that.
Right, yeah.
We wish you all the best on Friday night against West Carrollton.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just a reminder that everyone can watch the game here on the Indian Nation station. After the game, it'll be uploaded on the YouTube channel. It'll also be on Spectrum Channel 5 following the Coach Nietzsche Show next week. Reminder, kickoff is at 7 p.m. All tickets are online this year. So you can get onto the website of Pickle City Schools website, or you can actually buy them on site with a smartphone and a credit card. We look forward to seeing you. Kickoff is 7 p.m. There will be a tailgate free to the public. The Scottish Thistle will be putting that on out front. We'll look forward to having them. It'll be food, fun, and football on Friday night as the Indians host West Carrollton.
Yeah.
For the guys here, Dre'Sean and Big Tree,
Yeah.
I'm your host, Chip Hare. We'll see you next week.